Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Bell Community One broadcast of the feature game here at the Canadian Under 18 Curling Championships here at W.C. O'Neill Arena. And my name is Steve Thompson. I'm joined in the broadcast booth by Leah Thompson. Good evening, Leah. How are you?
Good evening. Good, thanks.
That's
Looking
great.
forward to a great game between Team Alberta and Team Manitoba.
There you go. And this is a ladies' game. We earlier broadcast a men's game. So it appears that Team Manitoba has the hammer in this opening end. So we'll start with introduction of Team Alberta. Lead is Hannah Airy. Second is Riley Quinn. The maid or vice is Hannah Phillips. And skip is Riley Baker. This team is coached by Allison Earle. Maybe you can talk about Team Manitoba there, Leah.
All right. So for Team Manitoba, we have Gracie Gulag. At second, we have Caitlin, and I'm going to refer to Steve because he knows how to pronounce this last name.
Suchuk.
Suchuk. JC Tarek and Emma Jensen is the skip, and their coach is Alan Jensen.
Good. Okay.
So it looks like the teams are kind of, just going to get a feel for the ice this first few ends.
Yep.
So the play is fairly open to start.
Yep. Alberta started with a rock deep in the 12-foot. I don't necessarily think they intended that, but in any case, Manitoba went after it and ended up over curling and sliding harmlessly by.
So I think both teams are just going to play this opening end a little simpler just to get a feel for the ice, feel for the speed of the ice, and how much it's curling.
Exactly. Sweepers are on this one, so they're needing to give it a little to get it in the house, although I don't think they needed to give it as much as they thought. So they're now basically frozen to there or short.
I think there's some distance between them.
Yeah. Their own rock in the back 12, so kind of still biting the 4-foot there.
We'll give you an update on all the other sheets that are ongoing this evening as well. We'll just let you know who's playing. So on sheet A, we have the ladies teams that are playing. It's PEI is taking on BC. On sheet B, we have Northern Ontario taking on Newfoundland. That's the ladies teams as well. And on sheet D, we have Northern Ontario taking on PEI. That's the men's side of things. And on sheet E, we have Team New Brunswick taking on Team Yukon, and that's also ladies play.
So Manitoba had doubled off the two Alberta rocks. Now Alberta comes down and clears the house. So blank slate. Halfway through the end.
I didn't see the call, but did you see if she called a corner guard or if she was playing right in the house?
I think probably playing right in the house.
Yeah, both teams are just trying to get a feel. I think they don't want to get too into it, so yeah, she's indicated.
Gets a little frosty out there on the outside edge of the sheet.
It's curling quite a bit
so
too.
Come to find out, it curled out quite a bit there.
Alberta's not going to take any chances with it, though. They're just going to
hit
it out and keep moving on. They recognize with the fact that they don't have the hammer, they're not going to take a lot of risks in this first end.
It's that basic math lesson, give one, take two.
Right, and I don't think either team would be too disappointed if there was a blank in this first end.
Exactly. True enough that. So they executed nicely on the hit and roll and rolled across the house. They're now on the back 8 foot. Again, keeping in mind that There are no guards, so play is wide open here. Basically extending the practice that both teams had on the sheet prior to the start of the game. They made the hit, but they made it a little thin, so they rolled out as well. So here Riley decides to take it to the opposite side of the house and go from there.
She's going to put the play towards the middle because she wants to try to force Manitoba to win here. So even if the house stays clear and they just nose hits back and forth, it'll be harder for Team Manitoba to roll out if it's somewhere in the middle.
There, yes, hitting somewhere on dry ground, as it were, not close to the coast.
Right. Still very makeable, but just a little bit more difficult.
They were a little heavy with that one. Ended up on the back 4 foot. Did have a small technical challenge at the very last end of our afternoon game, but I believe we've addressed the cause for that and shouldn't see a repeat this evening. Hopefully not. If you note any issues with quality of sound or whatever, don't hesitate to send the organizers a text, or if you happen to know Leah or I, you could text us directly. We always enjoy a shout out from our viewing audience of under 1 million.
That's right. I don't know. We might break 1 million tonight.
Could be as a cumulative total, maybe.
That's right. We're really going for it.
Yeah. There are extra bonuses for the broadcast crew when that happens.
That's right. Oh yeah.
You know.
So this is a similar kind of setup as we saw the boys game this afternoon. Both teams are just really kind of keep it pretty open, pretty simple in this first end, just to get a feel for the ice.
Hit and again rolled out.
So Team Alberta is getting a few opportunities to kind of have free draws is what we call, just meaning no pressure draw, just anywhere's in the house. But it's probably great for the skip to get this opportunity early on in the game, a no pressure draw, get a feel for draw weight, and she'll probably need that later on in the game.
Exactly. So advantage Alberta at this point. Even though Manitoba,
just slightly.
Even though Manitoba has hammer in this first end.
It's just a good opportunity for Alberta.
Despite this being an arena situation, if you're sitting, it's easy enough to get cold. But if you're one of the athletes on the ice, especially front-end sweepers, they warm up very quickly. Very quickly. So we'll not be long before we see some jackets coming off. We already see Manitoba kind of, one of their players doffing layers because she's warm already. So.
Girls are working hard on this one.
Yep.
I think they managed to get it on, yeah.
Yep. It's looking like it's full 12. And they're pretty happy with that shot.
Oh, yeah, mission accomplished. Really, you just needed to get somewheres in the paint.
Yep. Yeah, of course, the interesting thing in this end also is that Manitoba's been hitting all end.
Right.
If they then get challenged to draw, life could get interesting.
Right, but I think that they're still getting a feel for what the speed of is like, and they can watch the Alberta players and maybe get some long times on their splits.
Yeah.
So even though they haven't thrown a ton of draws themselves, they are getting a feel for the ice still.
Yes. There you go. So Manitoba hits and rolls out. The key for her, I think, is going to be to be able to hit and roll but not out.
Right. Well, even just, you know what, if you can make a nose hit and draw the 8-foot, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yep. There you go. That's the coach in you coming out.
That's right.
Yep.
I think I stole that one from someone else, Wayne Daw or someone.
Maybe so. Maybe so. However, it's they are words of wisdom to be sure. Well, quietly lurking off to the side is Vern Lester. Of course, he'll be here actively watching what conditions are doing in the ice surfaces in both sheds this week.
Yeah, so far from comments from the players and from watching, it seems to be really holding up well.
Yep.
Which is exactly what you want for a big event like this.
True enough that.
We have our first end done on the other sheets. Team Northern Ontario has blanked the first end on Team Newfoundland, and that's in ladies play.
Yep. I think we're down to Skip's last shots here on sheet A.
I think sheet E may have just wrapped up theirs.
Yep.
So it's in the Yukon and New Brunswick. I do believe the Yukon scored 1.
There you go. Go back to our math lesson there of give 1 and take 2. So.
Right.
Or you throw that other wrinkle in of what about the blank?
Right.
Speaking of blanks, Manitoba did not execute the blank.
Not quite.
It ends up kind of hanging around for 1 hit and roll, but not out.
But she was probably thinking, I just want to be sure that I make contact with the rock.
Yep.
Because it's better to take 1 than to sail it by and not score any.
Give up a steal of 1.
Exactly.
As the expression goes, that would suck.
So there's no real harm in that.
Nope. Anyway, early in the game, as we mentioned, and lots of time to keep things on the rails.
Oh, absolutely.
Looks like things are wrapped up in the first end on sheet A there as well. And PEI came up with 1 in that particular game. So score there 1-0. Scoreless on sheet 2 between Northern Ontario and Newfoundland. Manitoba's up 1-0 on Alberta on the feature sheet. The lone men's game here. We still got a couple of rocks to go in the first end there. And Leah, maybe you can confirm for me, but Yukon scored 1 in the first against New Brunswick ladies in the first end on sheet E.
And on our feature game, it seems to be like the teams are going to play the similar kind of end in the second end. Just, you know what, I'll put 1 in, you take 1 out. Just keeping it simple to get a feel for the ice still. And both teams are probably worried we don't want to give up a big end. So they're playing a little conservatively.
Yeah. our vantage point, it's hard to tell, but it would seem that the Alberta rock is concerning to Manitoba. We would suspect because it's actually touching the rings. They managed the front end was astute and swept it so that it would come back in on the roll.
Right. I would say it is just nibbling, I would say, since they're going after it.
True enough. And so they've managed to
hit and roll.
Hit and roll into the 4-foot.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Sometimes those ones get taken for granted, but those are tricky. You don't play a lot of shots out there, so getting the right, putting the broom in the right spot for that is a little tricky at times.
Exactly. Well, it would appear that hammer on sheet D for Team Shut. I think he's looking at least one opposition rock that's buried behind cover. He's trying the in off here.
Just not quite.
And didn't quite execute. So it gives up a steal of one there. So Northern Ontario's up 1-0 after one on the men's side. There's our man Mark Finley out there making sure he captures the action for the website and for posterity.
So it really is quite a simple couple ends they're starting out with.
You're right, Leah.
Yeah.
Let's put one here. Oh, let's see if they can hit it here.
That's right.
And they did.
But I guess it's good for the girls. They probably get to read all the different spots on the ice with relatively little pressure.
Low pressure and low risk.
Exactly.
At this point in the game. So always important to get some of those key shots for the memory bank.
That's right. And once you start making some of those, the more difficult shots, they seem a little easier.
Yep. Hit and stick for Manitoba there. And our gal Riley Baker is quick to put the broom down, knowing what she wants her team to do here. Good, as you mentioned in the previous draw, that when you have these obvious shots, like, don't waste time making them.
Right.
Save your time so that later on in the game, you know.
Exactly.
You've got a bit of a buffer if you need to stop and think about it.
Right. You never want to be short on time because you rush your shots then, right?
Exactly.
Especially on your draws. If you're trying to come back in a game and you are low on time, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. The last
just
thing
because
you want to do is have to rush a draw.
Exactly. Yeah. You need time to think about that. And even though you're not timed when you're actually sliding, you're still rushing because you don't want to be late.
Exactly. Key thing for these teams, though, is to be aware of the clock, which they all seem to be.
Right.
And they're playing all in good time, ready to throw, which is where a lot of younger teams can end up losing time if they're not prepared to throw. So I think that one of the basics in coaching at this level and younger is that they want to make sure that they've got their teams aware that they need to be ready to throw. As soon as the other team throws, you get ready.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think these teams have watched TV enough to know, you know what, this is what the pros are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to work pretty well, so I should probably try it too.
Exactly. If you won't listen to your coach, you'll probably listen to Brett Glenn.
Right.
Right? Didn't we have that conversation earlier?
It's true.
Yeah. Yes. Girls' team coach tells them something. Says, well, they don't believe me until I get Brett to come in and tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And there you are. All right. Draw, hit, hit, hit.
That's right.
This is the early going.
I think that one just took off on them.
Oh, it so did. And that's been the first miss, I think, of the game right there. Well into the second inning.
So Alberta's trying to split the rings,
Yep.
spread those rocks apart so there's, not many doubles.
Yep. And you certainly want that down to be almost square with the rock that's there in the back 8 foot.
Yeah, ideally if you could get them even, it would be
Yep.
so there's no double at all.
Even or, a very flat double.
Right.
The sweepers are very attentive. They're paying attention to the weight.
I think the skips realize it's a little heavier, so they're going to try to bring it back. Well, it sticks around. That's a pretty good shot.
And it is pretty square. Like, there's no double there.
No.
Nope. It would seem that the team supporters are in the house this evening.
That's right. Lots of fans in the house tonight.
Yeah. Various noise-making instruments to show their support for their home province.
That's right. Northern Ontario seems to be the noisiest, I think, and they've got both of their teams playing in the arena tonight. So
yes, and I think that they've got both sides of the viewing area kind of covered. So we've got ladies' game on sheet B and the guys' game on sheet D, and we've got drums and vuvuzelas and cowbells, you name it, they've got it.
So Emma's trying this hit and roll, and she just nosed.
Yeah. Alberta says, I'm happy just to hit and sit right here, thanks.
Right, even if they were to roll a little bit away from their own stone, they wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Just keep those really separate.
Exactly. The further apart they are, the harder it is for anybody to consider a double.
Exactly.
Of course, the challenge then is you don't want to roll out.
Right. Then your end would be kind of taken away anyways.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Yep. Worried about the weight on one hand, but worried about the line on the other.
She executes it pretty well.
Yep.
It's a tricky shot because she would have liked to roll just a touch more, but hard to play that and not worry about rolling out.
Exactly.
So I think Emma's going to try and play a hit and roll here if she can. Make it difficult to remove her stone.
Yeah. All right. Sweepers are with it. Just now starting to put some room to the ice.
I think they're trying to
make it move.
Yeah.
Yep. Got the hit, but not the roll.
So Alberta will have a hit for 2, and she'll be quite happy with that.
I dare say.
Especially in these games that are just 8 ends. 2 points on the board is pretty nice.
It's big. Large, huge.
Yeah, 3s are huge, but
Yeah.
2s are very nice.
I don't know too many people that would turn them down.
No. They're definitely using the one super technique here.
Yep.
I think she looks pretty good here.
She does.
Good for a nose hit, and
Nose hit,
2 goes on the board for
yep. Team
Alberta.
Yep. There you go. Update from Sheet B. Northern Ontario takes 2 in the second end.
So they're now up 2-0 on Team Newfoundland.
Yep. Still a couple of rocks to come on Sheet A. And it looks like Sheet D we're down to skip stones there, but still all of the skip stones to come. And so it would appear that New Brunswick scored in second end on Sheet E, but we're not sure about what the...
I believe it was 2 points, but yes, it was 2 points. Getting confirmation.
Deuce.
I think this one's going to slip a little bit deep for Alberta.
Just a smidge, yep.
From what we've seen from all the games we've watched, nothing usually seems to come up short. This ice must be fairly quick, and they're not always used to playing on this quick of ice.
No.
Arena ice.
Yep.
And again, I think both teams are just kind of content. It's the third end, so I think Team Manitoba here wouldn't mind having a blank to keep the hammer in the fourth end, the even ends.
Yep.
And, you know, Team Alberta is just going to keep things pretty open.
Exactly. Get any advantage at all, you want to hold on to it.
That's right.
And so they're electing to hit the Manitoba stone that was sitting on the upper left top 12 there. Done so and rolled out. Manitoba says, well, let's put that back. Maybe we'll get a miss out of this.
Right. Something I think that's interesting that we saw in the boys' games, we saw them switch sides a lot so that the other team was having to play on a side they maybe hadn't thrown a hit and may not know the ice for. But this team seems to be sticking to the same side, so maybe they just really know this draw path.
Yep.
Yeah, the sun's looking pretty simple, just getting things going.
Yep. Not a whole lot of rocks in play.
No.
Yep. We refer to this as a defensive style of play, would we not?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Definitely just keeping it pretty open.
working this one all the way down, Team Manitoba's front end. And find themselves rolling over to the side.
I've noticed this end. Both teams seem to have been sweeping a little bit more on their hits. So I think they're figuring out the ice, because before there were a lot of hit and rolls out, which there's nothing you could do as a sweeper if it's going to roll out. But you can hold straight if the ice is a little tightened.
Exactly. So, again, some information for the memory banks. All right, end number 2 complete on sheet D. It appears that PEI has scored in that second end. And I'll just wait for confirmation on how many.
So just a reminder for the folks at home, this event's going to be going on until Saturday.
Yep.
So we'll have half the teams will move on to the championship round, and the other half will be playing the mixed doubles event. So what they do for the mixed doubles event is they pair up each player on the team with another province, another player from another province, so a guy and a girl, and they'll play mixed doubles like we saw on the Olympics.
Exactly. And I remember from previous years that certainly the teams that weren't in the championship, gold, bronze, silver matches were quite happy to meet new friends.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea because it keeps everyone still playing for the rest of the week, right?
Yep. And you're not kind of.
And they're playing for something. Like they're giving out a medal for first, second, and third, right?
Yep.
So.
In mixed doubles.
Right.
So, hey, so it's not like, oh, gee, we're done.
It's not like you're just playing for seeding. It's like you're playing for something.
Yeah. Which is a great format.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was a great addition that they made.
Indeed.
And from the teams that played it last year in Moncton, I think a lot of them had a whole lot of fun. They said it was a blast.
Yeah, for some of them might even have been a highlight of their week.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, it's such an exciting game anyway, so you never know what can happen.
Very true. Very true. And it moves quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. An hour and a half to complete a whole 8-end game.
Right.
So blink and you're apt to miss a whole end.
That's right. So it'll be something to look forward to for these guys.
And it's certainly, you have a different outlook on the game when you're playing mixed doubles than what you would do if you're playing in a regular mixed game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's kind of fun too. Like the teams might take some risks that they might not usually take.
True enough.
Try some shots that are,
Yep.
difficult and maybe a little out of their wheelhouse, but give it a shot.
Precisely. So Manitoba has a teaser rock hanging on the back 12 in the corner, which Alberta is electing to go after, in keeping with the keep it clean.
That's right.
Perspective.
Seems like we're going to have another blank end coming up here.
I'm thinking that I see some writing on the wall here.
Yep.
It's quite a possibility.
I'm curious to see if either team will mix it up in the fourth end, if they'll, throw up a center guard or a corner guard, or if they'll just stick with what they're already doing.
Yes.
Or maybe we'll see the change after the fourth end break. Maybe the coaches will suggest mixing it up a little.
Yep. Now that you've felt the ice out, you've been back and forth. Let's get out there and get into this.
Well, exactly. And they'll be halfway through the game at this point, so
Right.
it might make sense to make a move.
I imagine that it will.
And they seem to be cleaning this one in. It's all good.
These are the U-18.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. Perfect.
We're appreciative.
Yeah. He's good. Friday? Did he say he could do it?
Yeah, he's good Friday.
He said he'll do them. He said he'll do them. He doesn't care. If you have somebody else that wants to do it, he doesn't care, but he'll do them all.
Les Harrison is doing one, but it'd be great to have two people.
Yeah, to be able to talk back and forth. Yeah. So you're good.
Thank you.
So write him in.
Charlie, you still want him?
I know. He said he's too critical.
Yeah, we're just having a word with one of our event organizers there, and
Yeah, from Curling Canada, Helen Radford.
Yep. Yep. And Helen's quite happy to see that we've recruited more broadcast crew for the weekend.
That's right.
And certainly viewers in southern New Brunswick will be familiar with the voice of Sean Thompson. Not anybody we know, of course.
No.
No.
The
Just
name doesn't give it away.
happens to have the same last name and address, but we don't know him. Anyway, so Sean will be here for all 4 draws and also all of the action on Saturday. So you're in for a treat, folks.
Absolutely.
If you think that our call of the action tonight is exciting, you just wait. This will seem like paint drying.
That's right. Well, we can give you a little update of the other scores
Yep.
as they come in.
Yep.
I think most of the sheets are on their skips rock, so we'll be getting down to it.
That's right.
And that was a nose hit for Team Manitoba, so they're taking 1 this end.
Yep.
So we had a tied game.
Tie game after 3 ends there.
Right.
Yep. It seemed to be a fairly defensive battle over there on
Mm-hmm.
Sheet C, the feature game tonight.
Absolutely. So I'm curious to see if we'll get a little mix-up in this end.
Yep. Over on Sheet A, I see that the mate on Team BC is throwing with a stabilizer.
Yes.
Yep.
I
Which
think there's a couple players out there that are using
Yep.
stabilizers or corn brooms.
Yep. I did see a corn broom this afternoon. Of course, you got to make sure that the straw on those corn brooms is all covered.
Right.
It would be against Curling Canada regulations, I believe, to have exposed corn on the ice surface at this point in the game. A little bit surprising to see players of such a young age using the corn broom, but it's probably how they learned, and maybe their grandfather taught them.
Maybe, or maybe they saw someone like Mike McEwen on TV and thought, he's pretty cool.
Yep, he's cool. I want to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give that a shot.
Indeed. There you go. But what you will notice is that the head color on every single broom out there sweeping is the same.
Right, no
Why
matter
don't you
what
tell us
make you
about that?
have, everyone has the same, has to be World Curling Federation approved, so there's only one type that you can use, one type of fabric.
Yeah.
They make the broom heads for different kinds of brooms, of course, so if you have a hardline broom or a Balance Plus broom, they make them using that fabric too.
Yes. It's
And that's just to keep the sweeping kind of standard for everyone.
exactly. Now, there's something about that color too, is there not, Leah?
Right, that color apparently is they were saying different colors have different effect, which
Yeah.
you wouldn't think the color of the fabric would matter.
Exactly.
But apparently if it was, black or whatever, it would be more abrasive or less abrasive. So
Yeah.
things you wouldn't think about, but they've clearly studied and have found out to be true.
There you go. Either way, it's standardized. Everyone has the same.
Right.
Yep. So then it does come down to the sweeping ability of your front end players.
Exactly. And you know what? It's something we kind of took for granted, I think, for a while. People didn't really think it made a huge difference. But now if you were to go back, you'd really notice, oh, wow,
Yep.
you could really carve things or...
That's right. Now back to the feature game here. I see the continuation of the draw in either, to the wings or to the forefoot.
That's right. Neither
And,
team really are feeling like mixing it up. They're
Yep.
just
Yep.
sticking with the standard.
Yep. Draw hit. Draw hit.
That's right. And we do have an update on the New Brunswick versus Yukon game, the girls' game. It is now 5-1 for Team New Brunswick. And we have an update on the Northern Ontario and Newfoundland girls' game. There was a blank in the third end, so it is still 2-0 Team Northern Ontario. And the hit and stick is made, and we're going to keep moving on.
Exactly. Now, in the earlier draw, Lee, I mentioned that there seemed to be some family dynamic in the curling world,
Right.
generational things, that sort of thing. And looking at the crew from the Yukon, the White Horse Curling Club, and seeing Skip's name Scoffin.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know anybody
Popular
else named
curling
Scoffin
game, yeah.
that might have skipped a team out of the Yukon? Not really sure. And then Team Smallwood as well. There's certainly two members of the team are from the Smallwood family, so that's puts fuel in our fire for the next generation of curlers.
Oh, absolutely. And they seem to be getting along very well. I think they must be sisters or cousins or something, so
Yeah.
they're related somehow.
Yep.
And they don't seem to have any trouble getting along, so that's a good thing.
I think they kind of look like sisters. But
I would say so.
there you are. Anyway. Back to the feature game. They've drawn just behind the tee line, but again to that outside 12 foot. And they seem to favor, as you said, they keep favoring the one side.
That one side, they don't seem to
Yeah.
like to go on the other side of the sheet, which is interesting.
You'd think after several times around, they're like, oh, let's mix this up just in case.
Yeah, I am curious to see if they ever need to make a draw over there, how the ice is, though, because they haven't played any shots, right?
Right.
So it may be slightly slower.
Yep. Hit and rolled out there. Now down to Skip Stone, so we'll see what goes on with this.
No, we still have another mate stone to
Another
come.
mate stone? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yes, each. That's right. So. And just as a reminder for the folks at home, we are at the W.C. O'Neill Arena in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. And this is the feature game broadcast for draw number 3.
4, do you believe?
Draw 4. In the Canadian Under-18 National Championship curling.
That's right, and if you're interested in coming down to watch, there's lots of seating here in the arena, but there's one thing I will mention. You should bring warm clothing and a blanket likely because it is very cold here.
We do encourage people to come because certainly the arena atmosphere is something you don't get to see every day and experience, and also get to meet curling fans from across this great country of ours.
That's right, and there's some great curling going on.
Absolutely there is. Absolutely there is. All right.
They're working hard to get this one in. I think they're going to get a biter.
Yeah, they're looking to leave this one high.
Yep, it's a good throw.
I think that's a moose call that I'm hearing. That Northern
so
Ontario
too.
crowd over there is getting pretty rowdy.
I agree, and I just checking the score. Northern Ontario just took 3 in the third end, so they're now up 4-3. And Team PEI will have the hammer in the fourth. And back to our feature game. Just looking for a nose hit here. Is the plan? I am curious to see what their coaches are going to say in the fourth end break, to see if they'll say, you know what, just keep doing what you're doing, keep in it, or if they're going to say, maybe you can mix it up.
True enough. We're certainly down to skip stones here now.
Right, so with that hit and roll out, I think it's going to be a pretty simple decision to draw it to the wings.
Yep.
And I think they're sticking with that same side that they know.
They are indeed. You would kind of think at this point in the game that they would, still the first half of the game, let's try some shots on the other side just in case.
Right, just to mix it
We
up.
might have to draw over there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what the ice is going to do.
And I mean, it's fairly low risk. I mean, if she was to accidentally throw it through, it wouldn't be a big issue.
Exactly.
They're working hard on this one.
Yep. Seeming a bit on the light side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of a little short. So this is an opportunity here for Manitoba. Hasn't been many guards in play at all in this game, and now she has a chance to kind of tuck one behind there. If she makes it good, she might either force Alberta to 1, or she might have a chance to steal if they try to chase it and don't quite make it.
Yeah. So key thing here is, have they made the right choice on where to put the broom to tuck this draw in?
Right. Well, they have been playing this
They
turn
certainly have
consistently,
been-
so
Yeah, they should know where the appropriate spot is. They know where they want to end up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even if she doesn't get fully buried, if she's even half tucked,
Yes.
it'll make Team Alberta really think, should I take on the risk of playing this, or should I just draw it for my 1?
Exactly. And they've done both.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Sweepers are not touching this one,
they're
so
not touching it,
maybe a
which
touch
means
hot.
it's a little hot. Which I think makes the decision easy for Team Manitoba.
Yes. She should take no time with this. Just picking, I noticed that the skip put her broom down in a certain spot. She must want to see that spot.
Yeah.
Because even though this is a throw through and, she's not trying to make a shot per se, you still want to use this opportunity to read the
You
ice.
still want to know what's happening on that side of the
Exactly.
sheet.
Like, this is your free opportunity to see what a rock might do.
That's right. Yeah. Well, she surprisingly didn't take that opportunity, Leah.
She stuck with that path, I guess.
Yep. There you are. So a blank fourth end, leaving things at a stalemate, tied at 2. Manitoba and Alberta.
So now the teams are going to get a chance to have a 5-minute break, and they'll get to use the washroom or have a snack and have a chat with their coach.
Yep. Exactly. Hear about the things that are going well and things that could be improved for the second half of the game.
Absolutely. Get the game plan going.
Get that game plan going. Make sure that they know what's up so that they can come out on the top end of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a key point for coaches to imbue a little bit of confidence and to share the game plan, make sure that everybody's invested.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Alan Jensen and Allison Earl are earning their keep at this point.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And they'll probably ask for 100% increase in the fees that they get to be coaches next year.
Get paid great.
You know it. Almost as good as the curling parents.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right up there. And I mean, if you're a curling parent and a coach, you get,
You don't need a job
you're
after
coining
that.
it.
There you go. Well, we could take a 2-minute break here ourselves, Leah, and
Yep. We'll be back with the broadcast.
back with the broadcast shortly. Thanks.
right, and we're back in action. Alberta versus Manitoba is our feature game tonight. And I think maybe the coaches did kind of suggest to mix it up a little bit because I see here that Manitoba is throwing a center guard. Alberta seems to be sticking to their routine of drawing to the wings. So this will certainly mix up the style of play for this end. And we can give you an update for the other games on the ice. So New Brunswick and the Yukon are playing, and New Brunswick is up 8-1 after 4. And on the Northern Ontario and Newfoundland ladies game, Northern Ontario is up 3-0 after 4 ends. And the PEI game and Northern Ontario game, they're just updating now, so I'll keep you posted.
So we start the end. Manitoba has a center guard and a rock in the back 12. Alberta's hit and
just rolled out. So this is where the center guard is going to come in handy for Team Manitoba. They've got the opportunity now. If there was no center guard and they just thrown right in the house and they would exchange zones, then it would really just be no advantage. But now that they have this center guard, there is an advantage if they can get around it.
True enough that.
It's an opportunity to definitely put some pressure on Team Alberta to make some shots.
Yep.
Not that there hasn't been pressure the entire game to make shots, but just a different kind of finesse shot.
There you go. Yeah, this looks like it's a little bit warm, but coming down reasonably nicely. Hangs around the back 8 foot. It's a little bit deeper than they want it, but at least it's still in play.
Right.
I always get concerned when you see a rock kind of cruising down the ice and the sweepers aren't able to help it.
Right. So I see Team Alberta is going to draw around the center as well.
Yep. Well, they've got some room to stack up on top of that Manitoba stone.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think they want to come directly back to that Team Manitoba stone because it would leave room for Manitoba to freeze again on them. So I think that they're aiming for like top 4 here. Really what's important here is the line. Try to get buried.
Well, it's got to do a whole lot of curling here in order to be buried.
They're trying to work it over there.
They're bringing it across. That's good.
Just didn't quite have the legs to get there, but the good news is I think it is mostly buried.
I would say that certainly the Manitoba folks can only see a sliver of that. I think they're discussing whether or not to hit it and from which side.
So I'm thinking they're a little bit worried about Alberta having the potential for 2 there, but I think they're going to play the draw instead. And
yep.
I think I like that call just because it's a tricky hit for Team Manitoba to make. And where they're already sitting 1,
yep.
Draw another one in there and put some pressure on.
They're working it for the weight, that's for sure. Just a matter of they need to continue to do so, and they feel that they do. They came off it for a second or two, but then
They're just trying to let it curl just a little bit, and it looks like a pretty great stone.
Yep.
Sliding a little deep. I think they were just going to make it curl at the end.
That's right.
So Team Manitoba is really, they've really put the pressure on this end. They've got their center guard up and 2 rocks behind it, so. Team Alberta is just trying to make a freeze in there.
See a front end sweeper making the sign for please slow down, please slow down.
It's unforgiving ice to be on heavy on.
It sure is. Oh, and here's Team New Brunswick coach Gary Wilson making his way back out to the ice surface there, just to had taken a break and is now making his way back, making sure that his feet are clean before he hits the blue carpet.
And this is a real opportunity here for Team Manitoba. If they can just come, even if they're a little bit short, if they can get buried.
Yeah, it's key.
Even if they end up being top 8, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to slide deep here, though. Give Alberta the same opportunity they just had.
Real danger here is that could happen. It looks like they're
just a touch heavy. Great line, just.
Line was awesome. Key thing is keep in mind that with that weight, you saw what it curled. If they gave it a little less weight, it would curl some more.
Right.
So you gotta be
Still putting a
careful
lot of
with
pressure on Team Alberta, and they are electing to play, I think, a double peel here, I think is the call.
That's what it looked like from my vantage point as well, Ms. Thompson. Get in the window.
And it was just narrowly missed. So this is kind of blocking up. The shooter kind of rolled to block the 4-foot on one side of the sheet. So really, Manitoba here, they just need to put a guard up.
Yeah.
She's considering hitting that one that's top 12 right now, but it's actually kind of helping her. It's guarding
helping her. So just put something kind of kitty corner to that.
Exactly.
So that you can't run it back.
Right. Higher the better probably here. I mean, she's just looking for about a halfway guard would do.
Halfway guard, just right as center maybe, not even, or still touching center on that right-hand side.
So it seems like Team Manitoba's decision to kind of mix things up this end is paying off so far.
It's true.
Guard's made. It's a nice shot. So I think Team Manitoba is kind of switching gears now. They're debating whether they want to play another double peel attempt or if they want to just draw in there and get in there themselves.
Shout out to Jonathan Goodine, the NB Curling Junior Coordinator. He's, of course, going to spend, I would dare say, all week here taking in the festivities and making sure that things are going well.
So Alberta has elected to draw in here, so she needs to make a good one here. Coming up light as a guard would really cut off the scoring area for this team.
Needs to come in and almost sit right on top of those 2 Manitoba stones.
Right.
That are on the center line just behind the button.
Doesn't seem to be curling much,
it's not curling enough. And seeming to slide back.
I think it just might have bounced off.
Yeah.
I think Team Manitoba is going to try to follow that down. I mean, even if she ends up being a little short of it, but buried won't be bad.
Nope.
Try to sit 1 and 2 here. Even if she doesn't get to be 1 and 2, if she can just kind of block that path off for Team Alberta.
Is that our man Jim?
Jim Cotter?
That's right. Of the notable notables, Jim Cotter is coaching Team BC ladies team.
Yes, he's coaching his daughter's team, Jaylyn.
There.
Thanks. Want to lock that or should I lock it or?
All right, this one looks a little hot. Which, before I was saying, it's a little better, be better to be short here.
Yeah. Did basically the one thing that they shouldn't have done.
It's tough. I mean, it's definitely not the goal.
No. As I've quite often said to our league play teams, higher's better.
Well, it's true, Ed. A rock that's light, you can do something with it. A rock that's heavy is just gone.
You're helpless.
Yeah.
You know, like the sad part is the only thing you can hope for is that it doesn't damage something you've already got going on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. However, here we go.
Oh, and we have an update on the Newfoundland versus Northern Ontario game. I think there was an error in the scoreboard earlier. It's actually 2-1 for Team Northern Ontario.
Yeah. So, after 4 ends of play, you see on sheet A that PEI and BC are tied at 2.
Seems like a heated battle.
Yep. As you just mentioned, Northern Ontario is up 2-1 on Newfoundland. Ladies game on sheet B. As we're well aware, Alberta and Manitoba are knotted up at deuces after 4. The men's game on sheet D, PEI and Northern Ontario are also tied up after 4. Well into the 5th end there. Would seem that the only real runaway game is on sheet E. And perhaps you can tell us what's happening there, Leah.
I believe the score is 8-1 currently for Team New Brunswick over Team Yukon.
Yep. They're currently in the 5th end.
Right.
And I believe that they need to play at least 6 ends of the 8 before handshakes can occur.
Right. And on our feature sheet, we just saw Team Alberta make a beautiful shot. She made a nice draw in there, and I think I'm not sure if she's sitting 1 and 2 now or if she's just sitting 1, but great shot nonetheless.
Certainly number 1 and close for number 2. As Manitoba says, well, we need to get in there.
Right. She just need to be careful with the weight, not to just tap them.
She did tap that one just a little bit, but I don't know how much room there is
to get in there
to move that Manitoba rock off the top 4 there, just that top piece of button.
Right. I don't know what Team Alberta has got for 2. They're looking at various different runs. If they're shot rock, I'm a little surprised that they're going to play these run backs, and I think I might just take my single and try to draw to the side of the button for 2.
Yeah.
Just because there seems to be some risk in here of maybe giving up steal.
Giving up a steal when they have a sure 1 and a means to get to the second one.
Right. Like we said, we don't have a great perfect view of the ring, so we're assuming that Team Alberta is sitting 1 right now.
Yeah.
just think if they play any kind of run back, they may end up jamming a yellow one in there.
Yes. And I agree that this is not the time to be taking risk. If you're going to take risk
Right.
early,
They're really debating it, so I don't know if... I'm taking up quite a bit of time for this shot, so...
but this is where not taking the time early on
Has saved
is,
them,
is
banked
paying
them.
off.
Yep,
You've got some time banked, so
that's right. So they were debating that run back, but I think now she's elected to play the draw, which I think is the safer of the two shots.
yes.
There's not much risk in trying to play a draw to the button.
No. So
Or maybe she's elected just to throw it away.
Yeah. That's right. Quite
So she was shot
possibly
there. Yeah.
Wise choice there.
Yep. I wonder if she could have taken that wide draw where they had the broom, but thrown the opposite draw.
A
Yeah.
draw there and
Yeah.
possibly got there for two.
It was a difficult shot for sure, but
Yeah. And
probably low risk.
yeah, probably should have tried it just in case they're going to need to,
Right, just to get a feel for the weight there.
you know, in the seventh end, for an example. We shall see.
All right, so 3-2 is a score.
Yeah.
Really, I think that kind of offensive end really has paid off for Team Manitoba.
Yes.
Their coach, I think, might have suggested to go a little bit more aggressive in the fifth end with putting a center guard up, and it seemed to really pay off. I mean, they forced Team Alberta to win.
Yeah.
All right, so I think Team Manitoba is really mixing it up this end. They've elected to play a corner guard here. I think their coach definitely did have some advice. You know what? Play with some guards and play. You guys know what draw weight is now. So you can afford to take some risks. Plus, with that rock being that Alberta lead stone being back 8, it's not a real risk for them.
No.
It's not in what we would call the control zone.
No. So no need to worry about it at this stage in the end, anyway.
Right. And I think she's probably thinking, you know what? I threw a guard in the last end and it paid off. So why don't I do it when I have hammer?
There you go. It might pay off more.
Right.
I might actually get my deuce.
Exactly. And deuces seem to be, there's only one deuce on the board, right? Team Alberta had one deuce.
Exactly. And that may, in the end of things, may actually be the a game changer.
That's right.
And oftentimes, you hear people say, "Oh, that game came down to the last shot," or they won it or lost it on the last shot. Well, often when you analyze the game, it's much earlier in the game that
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The
things were
skips take a
turned.
lot of fault for losses, but really it really is a team sport.
It's a team sport. It's a team effort, win or lose.
That's right. And
Yeah.
you know what? Your lead, your second, and your mate need to be just as good as your skip.
Yep. So was that a bit of a miss there, Leah?
I think she was just playing the hit and stick there. I'm maybe just trying to get no, so you might make it a little bit more difficult to remove.
Yep.
But or she was going for the double. Either
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Didn't quite execute on the double, but
Right, but it has moved things
however,
around a
it
little.
certainly switched up position in the house.
Yep. And she maintained her shooter. That was important, right?
Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Bit of a costly one there. Hit rolled across and ended up tapping her own out.
Right. So I see
There you go.
we have an update here after 4 ends. So this is in the club. We have the men's teams that are playing is Team BC and Team Saskatchewan. And Team Saskatchewan is up 2-1 on BC. And Nova Scotia and Quebec are both tied at 5. In the women's game, we have Nova Scotia taking on the host New Brunswick team. And Nova Scotia leads at 7-0. So this is an interesting call here. So Team Manitoba has the hammer and a corner guard, but they're trying to hit this rock. Didn't pay off, and I saw her say to her thrower, what can you see of this? They elected to play the hit, but I would have liked to see them come around and just play a draw to that stone. It's back 12, and it's a corner guard. You need to keep your corner guard, use your corner guard. That's why you threw it, right?
Yep.
So I think the coach may have something to say about, maybe just about that shot choice.
Likely will.
And it was a difficult shot also. I don't think she couldn't see all the rock, so it was a difficult shot to execute.
Exactly.
Team Alberta's really working this one in.
So just back to that update there from
Yes.
the club. The games
Oh,
are
sorry.
actually, we were reading them up and down as
looking.
opposed to across. Quebec is up on BC 5-1, and Saskatchewan is down 5-2 to Nova Scotia. Both of those games after 4 ends. However, we are correct with Nova Scotia being up on the host team 7-0 after 4 ends.
And just to give you a little update of the other games going on in the arena. So on sheet A, we have PEI is up 3-2 on Team BC. And we have a tied game. Northern Ontario and Newfoundland tied at 2. And that's after 5 ends. And the Team Northern Ontario and PEI game, we have PEI's up 4-3 on Team Northern Ontario. That's the men's game.
Yep. Over on sheet E, it looks like New Brunswick's Erica Clough is well in control of this game in the 6th end. And they're up, is that 9-1?
I do believe it is, yes.
Yeah. So back to the feature game. It would appear that Team Alberta has got 2 rocks in good position here. Manitoba flashed with their hit just prior, and now Alberta has brought a rock into top 12, biting the 8. This is almost a danger zone here, Leah, isn't it?
Right. So
Is this the part where you cue the Top Gun music?
yeah,
Highway
exactly.
to the danger zone?
Exactly. So this is a good call. It's just the only thing that's difficult is that her shooter probably will not end up in the ring. So
True enough, but you are kind of minimizing the opposition rocks
right.
here if this is executed.
Oh,
Oh,
or
look
you
at
can
that.
make the
Or
triple.
you can make the triple.
Well, that's a
And
bonus.
hang around on the center line close to the top 12.
Right, that's definitely an easily splittable rock.
Yep. That's correct. Alberta doesn't skip a beat. She says, all right, come around it, girls.
That's right. So it was really looking like advantage Team Alberta, and just with one shot, one pistol,
Yep,
the ends really changed around.
it's true.
And although she couldn't get her shooter on, I was impressed that she stuck where she did. That's very splittable rock.
Yep. All right. Alberta seems to have found a straight spot there. Of course, ran a little deep. Now they're
Yeah.
in the back 12.
So I'm curious to see if she's going to chase this one or if she just plays the split now.
I think she's looking at this.
Yeah. Okay, so the draw's not a bad call. Play the
Yep.
draw, and if you know it, if you're a little bit tight, you play the split.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to split.
Right. There's lots of options with this shot.
Yep.
I'm happy to see that she's not going to chase this rock.
Yes. It shows some good maturity on her part.
Right. It's just not quite curling. I think the weight was pretty close.
Yep.
We're finishing it now. That's a pretty good shot there.
Actually, not terrible. Now you have Alberta that's, I think, electing to try that come around again. I think with the right weight, it will curl.
Right.
The struggle is to find the right weight.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's up the least little bit, which has been the tendency here today on this arena ice, that it maintains the straight run
Right.
and then ends up open for the opposition to hit.
Yeah, that's the only thing about if they had Team Manitoba had played the split though.
Yep.
This come around may not be there.
True enough.
It would be a little bit more open, and the
Yep.
Team Alberta probably would be making a hit.
Yes. So always got to keep thinking ahead.
Seem to be close here.
Sticking close. This looks like it's going to come back and freeze on that yellow.
It's a great throw.
Yep.
So effectively, that kind of eliminates the rock
does.
that they just froze to.
Yep. Yeah. So tell me this now. The Manitoba player came out and swept that one back thinking, I want it out of the scoring area. But in doing so, she's frozen it up against her own, leaving
Right.
not a whole lot of room to chip that out.
Right, but I think the way it was lined up anyways, they're not going to leave a lot of room. So I think
Okay.
she's just thinking, let's try to get it out of the 4 foot.
There. That's why I'm in the broadcast booth and they're out there.
Hey, they know what they're doing.
They do. I continue to be amazed with the maturity of this young group of players all around. They're not drawn into things too easily, and that's certainly a definite sign of maturity.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're also not. They don't get down on themselves. If they
No,
happen
I've seen a
to,
lot of positive high fives and
have a bad end. or
keeping
so.
into it.
Yep, they're definitely still into it.
Girls are really working this one.
Yep. Well,
It's going to
At
come
this
up a
point,
little
you're gonna-
short.
they're on their own.
At least they
Oh,
rolled off, so they'll have an
there's-
opportunity if they need to play one of those rocks back,
Yep.
it will be there.
Yep. It would seem that they've split them on, and this is drawing Alberta to wonder what they're going to do here. It looks like they're going to come around from the other side. And this was the side of the ice that we mentioned earlier is the side less traveled.
Right, true.
Yeah.
I see she's taking lots of ice here. I think she just wants to make sure she can get by that centerline yellow rock.
Yep. Doesn't want to be too snug to that.
Well, no, exactly.
She'll even take the risk of being a little bit open there just so that she'll know what's happening.
Right. Well, if she shows half a rock, it would probably be still hard to make a double without jamming.
Yes.
And the goal, I think, here is to force one.
Yep.
I think the mate's indicating that there's lots of... Oh, I think they had a burned rock.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yep.
But, you know what? I like that the teammates still high-fived, and
Yep. Kinda
you feel
shake
terrible
it.
after that happens, but you know what? It's bound to happen every once in a while,
Bound
and you
to
know
happen,
what?
all of us.
Exactly, and there
Yeah.
could have been a worse time that could have happened.
Yes.
So I'm finding this is an interesting call here. The Manitoba skip is elected to play a tap on this one,
Yes.
I do believe. Or
Yep.
I think she has room on the other side. Well, she does have room on the other side just to play a straight draw.
Yep.
So I find I think it is a little bit more of a more difficult shot to play a tap,
It's a higher degree of difficulty.
right, than just to play the draw. But
Yeah.
maybe she really knows the path here, the ice there.
Well, true enough that. I would say that handshakes have taken place over on sheet E.
Right, looks like New Brunswick has defeated Team Yukon.
Yep.
An 8-2 win after 6 ends. I like that we see both these teams have little team powwows before they get ready for the next end.
Yep. Just to kind of clarify and
That's
make
right.
sure they're still on the same page with the game plan and
Exactly.
what are we doing in this end sort of thing.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see if either team's game plan will change. I think Alberta's going to want to keep this pretty open. Try to
dare say
force
so.
Manitoba to 1, or even if they blank, I don't think they mind it.
No, I don't think they'd hate that.
And Team Manitoba is going to go hard for their 2 this end, or they're going to go for a blank.
Yep. Manitoba clearly would like to have the hammer coming home, so
Right, it seems to be a definite advantage. But I think if the opportunity comes up for them to score a deuce, they'll definitely take that as well.
Right. It would appear that one of the games, at least in the Heather Curling Club, has ended. The host New Brunswick team is making their way to the locker room, and they were down by quite a few. So I expect that result held.
right, so Team Manitoba is definitely trying that corner guard strategy again, which makes sense. They're trying to score a deuce.
Yep.
Team Alberta is elected to draw around their center guard. They really
Yep.
are trying to force Manitoba's hand here at this end.
Looking to directionally sweep this rock, but no amount of directional sweeping is going to bring that behind
Not quite, no.
their own center line guard, unfortunately, at this point. Talk about a small scoring area. 4 rocks sitting in the 4-foot area over here on sheet D, the men's game.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, PEI in Northern Ontario.
All right, so Manitoba's electing to draw around their corner. I like that they're ignoring other stones.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to make a draw around a corner guard than it is to make a hit and roll perfectly. And that's a really nice shot that she has there.
Indeed.
Alberta's electing to draw around.
Draw around that center guard.
Right.
And maintain control of the center.
Another option she could have is to try to chase that one that's in the house in the back 8. And if she was to overcurl, she might take the guard off, which is also a good option.
I think they were also looking at that saying that chase is not what you want to do.
Right. She just wants to keep the pressure on, I guess, so she's going very offensive. And she does make the draw pretty well. I think it's slightly open. Eventually, Team Manitoba is going to have to make a play on these rocks in the 4-foot, so they might as well make one now, I guess.
Your second is usually your person you call on for some hits, so
right, for some bailout.
A little bit of bailout.
Well, the girls have elected to call a timeout this end.
Probably a wise choice.
Right. They certainly don't want to give up a steal this end. So trying to figure out how to generate that deuce is important.
Absolutely.
But making sure you can score is also important. Scoring 1 and being down 1 without is not so bad, but being down 3 I think would be a little bit more difficult.
I dare say it would be close to disaster. So Alan Jensen is making the march down there to have a look at the situation and then draw some input from his players. Hear all of the stories and the cases for which shot should be called. He's offering the opportunities, playing the tape forward before the game happens.
Right, just going over the potential shots they could play. I mean,
if you do this, they'll do that.
Right, she's got a few options here. I mean, the one that's on the button, I wouldn't mind taking a crack at that one now, playing a little hit, and you can flop over a little bit. I think those rocks are pretty even, so.
Yep. Yeah, a little hit and flop over on top of the Alberta stone.
Yeah, they may be even together, so they may not be able to roll much, but get that rock off the button. That's the goal.
That's job 1.
I think that's what her plan is there. Even if she ended up just... Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
She is taking a fair bit of ice here, so she may be just playing a draw weight to tap it back, which is also a good call.
Yep. Leave the backing there.
Right, make it difficult to remove. And with this rock being, I think, at least half buried from our vantage point,
Yes.
it would make sense to throw a little bit less weight where you can control it.
Yep. You give your sweepers the opportunity to participate here.
Right.
Yep. Okay. And here they are participating. All right. Off it again. Stay close, girls, though. They're getting by. They're going to get to that.
Looks like a beautiful shot here.
Yep.
Great shot.
Exactly.
I think that was a great timeout to discuss, you know, what are the potential options. They knew they needed to definitely get that rock off of the button.
Yes.
But to figure out that we can just play, you know, lighter weight, just play tap weight,
Yep.
was a really smart call by the coach
There.
and by the players.
Yep. And Alberta's back end is just kind of having a little team conference down there in the house to just get some confirmation of this is a shot I think we should throw, and the person throwing is in agreement. And
Right, so I think they've elected just to play the freeze.
yep.
And that call looks pretty good because it really is shrinking the scoring area for Team Manitoba, right?
Exactly.
And they'll have their rock kind of surrounded by red.
I don't know if it's my imagination, Lee, but it seems like it's warmer in here tonight.
Just slightly.
Yep.
All right, so the freeze looks like it's pretty darn close.
Yep. I'm going to tap that just a bit.
But you know what? They've got to be happy with that.
Yep. I wouldn't call it a miss, that's for sure.
Nope.
Nope.
That's just where she wanted it, so.
So
Now that Team Manitoba rock is looking pretty lonely there. Like the angle on that Alberta stone, if they ever get at that, they're just going to,
Yep.
they'd be sitting 3 or 4, and Manitoba
Yes.
won't be sitting any.
That's right. That one banana's looking pretty lonesome in there amongst the cherries.
Right. That's why that was such a great call to play the freeze
Yep.
by Team Alberta.
Yep. You know, so is one of the options you want to cover up that tap?
What I think she's electing to play is just tap things around. So she's trying to tap that rock that was just thrown by Team Alberta just to try and chisel it over a little bit and roll herself.
Yeah. There is a fair amount of risk associated with this call.
Well, it definitely does need to curl, but there's not a whole lot of other shots she has for options, so.
Right. But if she's a little bit heavy, this could could spell disaster for her team. Looks like it's curling enough here. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is
I think
just
the
what
audible was to sweep because they were trying to bring it by.
Yeah.
They realized it wasn't going to curl enough, and
Yeah.
now Team Alberta seems to be sitting 2.
Seems to be sitting 2. Yep. You know, I would have, on Manitoba shot, I would have kind of called something in front there and taken your lumps, but
Well,
only because I'm risk averse there. I'd be playing the defensive shot, so.
right. It was a difficult shot, but
Yeah. However, when you're down a couple in the seventh end, you can't afford to be too defensive.
Right.
You do have to take some risks.
And in her defense, she was just a little bit heavy and it ran a little bit straighter.
Yep.
Difficult shot to make.
Exactly. Now here I think they want something a little bit higher, but certainly covering that line on the way down.
Right.
Looks like it's coming in there, but leaving an opportunity for Manitoba to do something with all of that mess of red. And we're just starting Mate Stones.
I think
over
they're
there,
electing
so
to draw in there, which
yeah.
it's a pretty tight scoring area.
Yes.
But I suppose we're getting later in the end
Yep.
onto Mate Stones, so they're thinking we need to get one in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're working hard on this one. I think it's really curling. Just a
Yep.
tad light, maybe.
A little bit light and is going to end up advancing that. Just making
So
that
now
a
Team
mess.
Manitoba is in a lot of trouble. There's no real access to the forefoot right now, so
The water is deep and it is cold.
yeah.
Operation Lockdown should be coming into effect here for Alberta.
I was a little surprised that Manitoba didn't try one more bailout shot just to make sure that they
Yep.
could score.
Exactly, if for no other reason than to cut down on the number of opposition rocks that
Right,
are on that 4-foot scoring area.
exactly. And they've guarded that yellow stone that is just full 12, so they've kind of blocked off that raise.
Yep.
Team Manitoba is taking their second time out.
Yep. Appropriately so. So from the Heather Curling Club, after 5 ends, BC managed to pick up a single in the 5th end to make that game now 5-2 for Quebec. And let's see about Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia. So that game, there was a blank in the 5th, so the score remains 5-2 there. The other 3 games that are still in action here at the WCL Arena, O'Neill Arena, are still in the 7th end. All right.
All right, so coach is taking a look at what the situation is. Really, I think the girls need to open up one side so they have a chance to score. Because right now there's no real access to the forefoot.
They are completely blocked out of the 4-foot at this juncture. So need to open a pathway in there, yes, for sure.
Oh, so they must be figuring there's some room around that other side to get in there?
Well, and from our vantage point, we can't really see what the pathway is looking like
Right.
that left-hand side. There's so much granite in the way from our vantage point on the right-hand side that we're not able to see a clear path in there from the left. However, there must be one.
Right, and if she gets in there, she'll be locked in.
Exactly. So we'll see what goes on here.
Okay, and we do have a final on from the curling club. So Nova Scotia has defeated the host team 8-2.
Yeah.
It just over curled on her.
Yeah.
Her weight looked really good. I think she would have had great weight.
Yeah. And sheet D action on the men's side. It would look like Northern Ontario picked up another point in the seventh end, bringing that game to 7-4. So Team Northern Ontario is feeling fairly confident in their ability to take this game home.
Right, being up 3 is a tough hill to climb for Team PEI, but they're definitely going to give it a go.
Yep.
They've gotten a 3 before in this game.
They have. Now Northern Ontario has given them nothing to work with. I used to think that it was not very sportsmanlike to do the throw-through business, but what you don't think about is that your rocks that you might leave in play are opportunities for the opposition to work with.
Well, exactly. Even if you make a great draw top 4, it's still something they can work with, right?
Yes.
They can freeze to that. That's something they can use. So if you just throw it away, then they can't use it.
That's right. So what's happening here?
Team Alberta is electing to throw another guard just up on...
Yeah, what they don't want to do is that tap forward or promotion of the Manitoba rock that's sitting at the top 12.
Right. So
however, I don't know that they've accomplished that.
I think it might have slightly overcurled.
It's slightly overcurled to the center, so
yeah,
still leaves
so tap is still
Manitoba the
available.
opportunity to tap that up.
Yep.
Albeit it's a little more difficult, it's still possible.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And if she can manage to squeak one in there, she'll be in a good spot.
Yes.
It'll be hard to remove.
Absolutely.
We do have an update on Sheet B. Newfoundland took 1 in the 7th end, so we have a tied game now at 3. So it's Northern Ontario and Newfoundland are tied. And Northern Ontario will have the hammer coming home in that game.
They'll have the hammer coming home. Having the hammer coming home is usually comforting unless you're down a bunch.
Right. She seems close on this. I just think the line has to be right. Oh, just a little heavy.
Just a little firm.
Line was great.
Yep.
I think she was hoping to catch one of those back ones on the way by.
Yes.
So now Team Alberta is just going to try to block that same shot. Cut off that hole. Now I'm not really sure what Team Manitoba is going to have to score. Maybe an in off of that yellow rock that's on the edge of
On the
the
edge
8
of the
foot?
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, the edge of the 8 there on the right-hand side.
Even still, I think that may be running into another Team Alberta rock, but
And
give it a chance.
I think it's a little far back to actually get into that 4-foot without running into traffic. Like
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Just don't see what else she has to score.
Yep. Well, we're just in. We've notched over the 1 million viewers for this event.
Perfect.
Yes.
We must be getting our raise then.
I would say that we are. You know, that was part of the contract. If we engaged more than 1 million viewers, that
We get a Tim's hot chocolate for free.
That's right. There you go. We'll put a shout out there to Sue Lankish Lister to make sure that she's made the call to the local Tim Hortons. So as we're heading out of town to head back to Quispamsis, that we can stop in there with a minimum of muss and fuss.
So Team Alberta has made the guard pretty well. I'm not certain what Team Manitoba has got. She's looking for some kind of an option.
Yep.
Maybe run her own guard onto her other guard into the pile.
Yeah, there's that possibility. I don't see that she has much else.
Yeah. We'll give you an update on the PEI BC game. So Team BC is up 4-3 on Team PEI, and they're into the 8th end, and Team PEI will have the hammer.
Yep. Down one with the hammer coming home. It's not a terrible place to be. Now would be an awesome time for a deuce for PEI.
That's right. Win the game that way.
Yep.
Team Manitoba was not successful that end, so we'll see what the result is.
You know that Alberta was probably in there for at least two.
Right. I think we've elected to play another end.
Yep. Have a little powwow there.
That's right.
Shake it off.
So we're getting confirmation now that it was 2 points for Team Alberta, so they will go up 6-2 into this final end.
Similar type of scenario that was happening on sheet D. It would appear that handshakes have taken place there on sheet D. Northern Ontario has been victorious over Team Shut from PEI.
Correct. They've run Team PEI out of stone, so it'll just be X's on the 8th end, and Team Northern Ontario will take that one.
That's right. Mathematically eliminated, as the expression goes.
That's right. Team Manitoba was working hard on this one.
Oh.
Now, this is difficult. When you really need a guard, you sometimes think, I can't be heavy here, so you end up being a little bit light, but I think the girls are working it over.
They've managed to get it to that all-elusive zone 0.
Good sweeping.
Yeah. just barely across.
And Team Alberta's not joking around here. They're just going to throw through.
Throw through, just no need to leave anything hanging behind. That type of thing. Nope. Official just having a word with Team Alberta there. I'm not sure what that's about.
I think
but
the
anyway.
discrepancy is I think that they're saying that our clock was running as the rock was already released.
Yeah,
And the clock is only supposed to be for thinking time, not for when the rock is actually traveling down the ice.
true enough. True enough.
But to be
Although-
honest, I don't think that time is going to be a
Time
major
is
issue.
not an issue here. And if you're Team Alberta, I wouldn't waste any sleep.
And I think the official's making the appropriate adjustment anyways.
Yep. Which is good to see when you've actually pointed it out that, okay, somebody's doing the right thing.
Right.
Oh,
So they've just elected to peel the one that's a little bit tighter. I think she did look initially at the double peel, but it's a difficult double peel. And
yeah.
you know what? Just take the one that's closer, that's more of more risk.
Yeah. This is early in the week for trying double peel.
Well, and it's unnecessary as well.
Yeah. If you don't need to, why risk the flash?
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense. There you go.
So we'll give you a little update of how the other ends are going. 2 other games in their final end of play.
Yep.
And they're both, actually, no, one's a tie game and one is a 1 point difference. So they're
Yep.
both tight games.
Yep. BC's up on PEI 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, PEI has the hammer coming home.
Right.
Desirable position to be in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And Team Alberta makes the peel again.
Yep.
So now Team Manitoba knows they're down. They need to score 4 this end. I think there's only 5 rocks to play.
Yeah. They recognize, but
Let's try to make this one count. Let's go
Yeah.
around the corner guard.
this is looking like it's going to hang out there a bit.
Yeah, it's not quite finishing like it was earlier.
No,
Her weight's great.
Leight's awesome. But she's left herself hanging pretty wide open in
Yeah.
the breeze here. I believe our young skip from Alberta has said, make it gone.
Right. And she just wants to peel this out.
Yep.
She doesn't want to keep her shooter. Just get
Peel
rid of
weight
it.
she doesn't need to hang around. It's probably better if she doesn't.
That's right. Better if she just hits and rolls out.
Yep. Looks like she's going to end up nosing here.
But
However-
goal 1 was to get rid of the rock, and
Yep,
She
and
did
they've
that.
done that. And then also you think about that rock. It's no longer advantage to Manitoba to hit that rock because you're not
no,
sitting,
absolutely not.
You're not sitting in the rings when you do.
No, so I think what Team Manitoba is electing to do is just to use that as another guard,
Yep.
which is a great strategy. Draw around that.
Well, sometimes using the enemy tents is not a bad plan.
That's right.
As our good friend Mr. Cooper would say, keep your head down and sweep.
That's right. Just go for it.
And this looks like they've
Oh,
kind of come up light here.
Over curling slightly.
Yep. Over curled.
She's electing to peel this out here, but I may just draw another one in the house because there's only 3 stones left. But I guess she's thinking, let's just eliminate this rock, and so then for sure we will take this game.
Yeah.
I guess it just poses a risk of maybe a jam, in my mind.
Yes.
Or if she peels her own out. But she looks pretty good here. She got away with it.
Yeah, she did. It was I think the peel weight is what saved
Oh
her
yeah,
there,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So lots of handshakes there.
That
so
is handshakes, yeah.
Team Alberta will take that one.
Yeah. Another one in the books. Should we hang around for a few minutes and
give you a quick little update on the other
yep.
other
Since
2
we're
games still in play?
Down to the last couple of stones in each of those games.
Right, so Team Newfoundland is trying to steal their way to a win this game.
Well, they've left themselves open there, so I don't know.
I think they were trying to throw a guard on a rock full 4.
Yeah.
And it just overcurled.
That it did. However, and then over on sheet A, BC being up one without the hammer is going after PEI's rock that's top 12 that happens to be counting just now.
Right. So I think her plan, BC Skip is just trying to play a hit and roll and sit there.
Yep. You want to hit and roll a little bit to cover her own in the back.
Right.
12.
She may be able to sit 2 here.
Yep.
And we have the Team Northern Ontario stone coming down, playing a hit.
They managed that
She
quite
makes
nicely,
it.
and they roll behind cover there as well.
Yeah, beautiful shot.
Yep. So Newfoundland says we come down and sit on the corner of it.
Right, make it difficult to remove, and
Yep.
it's the best you can do.
There. Oh, something I've seen on a mitten over there on Northern Ontario reminds me of the skip that can't yell.
Yes.
She's got the bright fluorescent green on her mitt to show her sweepers when she wants sweeping and when she doesn't. Nice.
Right, I think
green
there's
for
also
go.
a red on the other side even.
There.
So the sweepers can
So
look
then-
up because I think they're probably thinking our fans are pretty noisy.
Yes.
So,
And there are a whole lot of other ladies teams out here that sound
That's
a whole
right.
lot like us.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the moment and just start, pounding a rock without really realizing you need to look up or listen to your skip to hear what they're saying.
Very true. Very true.
So this is the Newfoundland's skip's final rock here, trying to bury one.
Yep. Oh, and it sailed
just slid
too
by.
far. That's the game. Oh. Something that's not a bad idea is the elbow bumps here, because oftentimes at these week-long national events, one kid is sick, many kids are sick
Exactly.
within a couple of days. So
Right.
makes total sense.
They're just doing the fist bumps,
Yep.
elbow bumps.
Yep.
All right, so our last game on the ice is Team PEI and Team BC.
Yep. And we're down to the last 2 rocks there as well.
All right, I think BC's drawing in here and
Yep.
trying to force PEI to 1.
Yes, because currently BC sits 1.
Right.
So they want to draw in probably opposite that, so that, or are they going to cover that? Either
I
way,
think they're just going to try to go
yeah,
top 4.
Yeah, probably so. Leaving PEI with the difficult, or
Not even top
like
top
not
8 would
even
be
top
great.
8 would be
Yeah,
good because you want to.
make the double difficult and
Yeah.
make the shot
And
for
then
1
if
difficult.
they hit that top rock, well, this is looking like it needs some work to get here, folks.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
There
Good sweep.
you go. Yep. So BC sits 1-2, and PEI has 1 rock to go.
I think they're looking at lining up the double. She can either play the double for the win, or she could just draw for her single and go the extra end.
Yep.
But she's lining up the double.
There you are.
I think that if she doesn't make the double, though, and I think she may end up being shot rock anyway, so we'll
Yep.
go the extra as long as she sticks.
True enough that.
Oh, she doesn't seem too happy with this one. Just a little wide.
Little
So
bit wide.
BC will steal that end, and
BC steals
we'll take
one.
that game.
There you go.
Thanks
All
for
right.
tuning in.
That's right. So
The broadcast will
off.
be back.
10 a.m. draw tomorrow morning
That's right.
with someone other than us.
That's right.
So signing off here from the W.C. O'Neill Arena in beautiful St. Andrews, New Brunswick. It's Leah Thompson and I'm Steve Thompson. And thanks for joining in and making us hit that 1 million viewer mark. We do really appreciate your support. Thanks again and have a good night.